Hey guys, doing today on Call of Dragons, I'm finally maxed out every single archer commander in the game, apart from Magrat. She is 5551, and I plan on awakening her, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on in today's video. But we have finally done them all. We have every archer done, and that is because obviously, as you guys know, I am an archer main when it comes to Call of Dragons, right? I enjoy playing archers, especially when you get that long range warfare and you get to absolutely laser people down, right? So what we're going to do is actually talk about few of the heroes, my pairings, and what I've gone through, you know, over the years, what's been good, what's been bad, and then actually talk about some of the war pets, right? Because I have been working now specifically on some war pets, because it is that time where, because I've got all the heroes done, I'm going to just focus as hard as I can on my war pets, because war pets are insane when it comes to Call of Dragons. You actually need a good war pet, guys, in order to honestly get some insanely high merit scores. And people are starting to realize a war pet is the difference maker at the moment when it comes to some of the larger reports you have in the game. So we're going to go through all of that today and obviously finish off with some artifacts at the end. So smash like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope this is a little bit better. I've got a new setup, obviously camera a little bit closer, so hopefully the microphone should sound nice and crisp. So what we're going to do is go through kind of G1 all the way through, because obviously everyone will start off with Neeko and Kanara. And this is one pairing that I honestly still use to this day. It is actually such a good pairing, because the thing is, in Call of Dragons, especially in ranged combat, you're going to be going against quite a lot of tanks at times, and if you're bringing a Neeko and Kanara, you're actually a really good tank buster. And that is because obviously you're going to be reducing the damage you take from them, but on top of that, you have the inflict defense break combo from the Kanara Awakening, and obviously the skill 1 on your Neeko, and this is allowing that match then to deal potentially a bunch more damage over time. So that's kind of the beauty of it, meaning you are honestly really good at killing tanks for doing so. On top of this, the pet, right? We've got actually 2 Snow Peak rocks on this account. You can see I've got 2 Night rocks as well, and we'll explain those in a moment. And the reason why I've got 2 Snow Peak rocks is because normally, if you have played Rise of Kingdoms or any of these type of games, no matter what, your heroes that come out do tend to repeat some sort of mechanics. And we've already got the defense break heroes, which are obviously Neeko and Kanara, and I can imagine maybe G4, G5, maybe even G6 in the future. We might get an upgraded defense breaking march. And if that is the case, the Snow Peak Rock is going to be the go-to pet. So I've built one here, which is actually just about dealing skill damage from the pet, while the other one is more of the meta build, which I would recommend, which is more crit, and you try and get as much crit damage on there with, honestly, a 3-star, if you can, rage accumulator, because this is going to allow that Neeko to honestly cycle even quicker every turn, and actually means you don't have to take as much rage generation in your talent trees too, because you can supplement it from here. So this is honestly a really good pet, and I'm looking forward to see what happens in the G4 heroes, just to kind of showcase those are the pets, but this is the one I normally run on my march. When it comes to the actual artifact, it isn't honestly the Grey Mars Warhammer. That's just because we've been switching around so much. I have been using, as you guys know, Shadow Blades, and the thing is, I will tell you everyone now, if you have a level 5 Shadow Blades and you've got a level 1 Rattle Spear, 10 times out of 10, my Shadow Blades is performing better, and that is just simply because of the amount of stats you are getting, and I'm meaning the 5% damage dealt and the 5% damage taken. This really does add up over time, should I say, when you get your stars upgraded on your heroes, because you got to think then you got 5% attack resistance too, and when you 6-star a hero, you got that defense penetration as well. So having all of those stats combined is so much more powerful. However, if you do have a Rattle Spear like I do, I will say, once this Rattle Spear honestly gets to level 3, you're good. Because normally at level 2, you're at 3%, so you're just below that 5% threshold, and at level 3, you're at 4.5%, and you're happily sacrificing 0.5% in order to get this additional defense penetration now, and basically dealing as much damage. So this is where this will start to overrule, but at the moment, I'm still running my Shadow Blade. In niche scenarios, and in a different matchup, which we're going to talk about next, my Viola's Bow does come into play too, so we'll talk about that in the next one, which is, as you guys will know, Syndrion and Fraga. And Fraga is literally the last ever marksman I've just awakened. She finished awakening yesterday. I had about 10 tokens to do, so I spun the wheel, got her done, and that's it. I don't have to worry about her now. I can work on either some mages or even technically save up for the G4 archers that are going to come on their way next, hopefully, right? And the thing is with Syndrion and Fraga, I will tell everyone, and I think everyone will agree, this March in the season it's in, G2, is absolutely monstrous. It really is. It is an absolute animal in G2. However, as soon as you get out of G2 and you're in the G3 commanders, and especially now I can imagine the G4 commanders, Syndrion Fraga really does lose their place, especially the Fraga. For some reason, my Syndrion Fraga, it does do some good merits, and I can showcase. I put it in, I think, the Archer Gang. There we go. We've got some people put it in Magrat reports, but when we go up, I got 32.9k report there, hitting just basically T5 players against RAC and GG in the last thing, with a couple of infantry thrown in there, right? So you can see it does do good work still. It honestly does do some okay work, but when you try to compare it to the newer archers, as you guys know, it's just nowhere near. However, there is a saving grace, and this is kind of bridging both of those together, which is Syndrion and Zayda. And I want to talk about Syndrion and Zayda at the end, because this actual match, if you have both of these heroes, I think will absolutely surprise you on how much damage it really can put out. But when we come back into Syndrion and Fraga, let's stay on topic with the G2 heroes. Obviously, you're going to be wondering what artifacts and stuff to be running. Obviously, we're going to be running the Night Rock on this pairing. And the thing is, originally, this was the Night Rock I would be running on my Syndrion and Fraga. However, one thing has clearly become meta in Call of Dragons, and it is sustain. No matter what anyone says in this game, comparing it to Rise of Kingdoms, which is completely wrong now, sustain is so key. We can see that in the Magrat and Zayda reports on how much healing they're able to do over time, keeping that troop count really, really high, meaning they're dealing the most amount of damage over the longest period of time. It's such a good combo. So the thing is, this is gonna be my new Night Rock build, and I am building it for a sustain purpose. So we are gonna be getting, obviously, the Intense Ravage, obviously 11 up Ravage. I've purposely put on Guardian Oath at the moment, but this will get replaced at some point. I think I might replace this for the Steadfast Chain Strike if I'm able to. I might have to obviously do a little bit jiggling around, and then at the end all we have to do is just increase the damage dealt and then put something on, maybe like Legion HP bypass, and just allow this Night Rock with your Syndrion. Yes, it's going to deal some okay damage, but the whole point of it is actually give you some sustain. But there is another pet you could be bringing into the meta, which is again going to be talked about in the honorables mention section at the end, and it's going to be probably a video on its own and how good these pets really, really are, right? But that's kind of my Night Rock setup for you guys. I've got two. This is obviously the more damage dealing side. If you want to go for the big damage dealing, I'd go for a build similar to this, especially with the, you know, the crit combo. What you could do is replace this skill here with obviously Steadfast Chain Strike if you wanted to, and this could be basically a crit healing combo for Syndrion and Fraga too. It's up to you, but I purposely want to just go for pure damage on my Magrat pet, and you'll see that basically in the next pairing. But to finish things off, the actual artifacts. What artifact have I been running? So the artifact-wise, Goldcrest, obviously, if you're running Syndrion and Fraga together, is the best combo because of obviously how much damage it's dealing. Plus, obviously, it gives you some nice march speed, which is really key because if you're hitting, obviously, the effect and then you get to reposition your troops, you normally don't get caught out from probably all of the infantry that's trying to blink in on you, which is really good. Because the thing is, as you guys know, with the Fraga, you have that additional chance to obviously immobilize a target for 3 seconds. It is a good artifact, but the thing is, I purposely use a different artifact, and this is where my Viola's bow actually does come in. The thing is, what I've noticed with Syndrion and Fraga, they honestly do enough damage. And yes, Goldcrest is a really good artifact, but to be honest, from my personal experience playing open field for such a long time, a open field Viola's bow is a game changer. It really is. The fact that you can use this, which a lot of people don't understand, has long range warfare on it. This is the one archer artifact with, I think, maybe the crossbow, which actually has the range of a mage artifact. It has the longest range you can have compared to any of the other artifacts, like your Shadow Blades, like the Goldcrest, like even the Rattle Spear, which is set for more medium-based ranges. And that is massively game-changing because, again, you can have this Viola's bow ready on autocast if you want to, or I don't normally have it on autocast, so I can use it at my own leisure, and I kind of just charge it up. And as you know, these guys, infantry, are trying to blink in onto you again, or they're trying to use their mocking chorus on you, and all these different artifacts that are going in, you're going to be able to just negate them. And the fact that you negate them for 10 seconds is absolutely crazy. On top of that, it gives you a massive 50% marksman HP when you add obviously the marksman and legion HP total. So this honestly makes your marksman last the longest when you're out there if you're just going for straight damage and straight, you know, tankiness in one artifact. And it has an amazing AoE because you gotta think this obviously artifact skill seal does hit up to 5 units. That's over 50 seconds of technically time off from different artifacts, and this can hit, like say, long range. So even if you're in that medium range combat and you hit through, most likely you can hit other, you know, archers, you can hit even people pushing with mages. It is just a really good artifact. I honestly love this one, and this is what I've been using a lot more than the Goldcrest. I will be brutally honest with you guys, right? So now let's get to the big elephant in the room, the Mag Z. This is obviously the combo you get in G3, right? So the latest season. And if you don't have Mag Z, you are probably messing up on your account. This is, without a doubt, the best match in the entire game. Not even close to anything. It's that good. Mag Z with marksmen, with celestials, with cavalry, with infantry. This match does it all. It really does. And that is because the fact that with Mag Zayda, a lot of the skills that you're putting in are basically legion-based effects. This is the only marksman-based skill on Magrat, but when you look at her second skill, this is whenever the legion gains healing. So this means it's a universal skill that's just absolutely cracked when you're bringing them in the open field. And the thing is, Zayda is an absolute crit machine because of, again, having that 25% inherent crit bonus. This means, again, 1 in 4 is always going to basically crit on your attacks, meaning you have more consistency than you do with actually a Fraga. Because the thing is, with Fraga, you do need to trigger the actual active skill to get the 60% crit rate for the 7-second duration. Yes, it is a bigger rate for 7 seconds. However, you've got to get there again to the next turn. And that is the one thing which we've seen countless times Zayda just outperforms. On top of that, obviously, when you're dealing damage, you're getting normal attack damage bonus, which is what all of the marksmen. One, the more normal attack damage you do, guys, is where you get all the merits in your reports. It's absolutely crazy on how much damage you do. Obviously, we get this Legion bonus again. This is going to give you damage dealt and healing received. So obviously it combos with the Magrat. This is the only marksman talent you have to worry about. And when you do Awakener, this basically gives you 3 stacks instantly when you enter battle. So instead of starting on 8%, you're already on 24%, which is kind of crazy, and a massive amount of mark speed. So you're already hitting as hard as you can, and then you start going up even quicker, right? So Magrat, if it isn't obviously talked about, you need this match. You honestly do need this match. If you want to know about the artifacts and stuff you can use, honestly, this hero combo is just so good with so many different artifacts. I honestly use Heart of Kamaset because, as you can imagine, me running 2 or 3 different archer matches in the open field, I really do get the maximum benefit of this, giving all of them extra normal attack damage dealt and physical attack bonus for 10 seconds. So when I do target, you know, my Legion and my other 2, they're gonna absolutely melt whoever we're melting down as a laser team, right? So this is a really good supportive artifact. If you honestly are just running the one march out, I've even tried stuff like Shadow Blades. Obviously, this is going to perform good for me because it's just got the best stats. However, even just the Gilded Crossbow, this at level 1 on the march is surprisingly insane. It's so good because of the fact that you are gaining the actual enemy HP bypass, right? And a HP bypass allows you to technically just kill the units a lot quicker. This is a really good trading item. So if you don't even have this, I would try and recommend getting it for your archer marches just in general. It's a really, really powerful artifact. I wish, and maybe I will over time, try to get this to like level 5, because this is probably the one of the artifacts that I would push for level 5. And the thing is, when you compare it to the other archer artifacts, it is just hands down the better damage based artifacts. Now let's talk about other things, because with Magrat, you can play Celestials, right? You can bring the mages. And obviously, for most of the free-to-play players, we normally bring Tear of Arbon. It's a no-brainer. Giving yourself that 62% defense with the 5% damage taken reduction is absolutely cracked. On top of the nice little bit of healing that you get, this is basically going to trigger the Magrat second skill, obviously giving you that extra attack bonus more often, and then you get obviously 5% damage dealt. Another really good one, which is a big shout out to obviously my brother, my big brother, Gunzi, right? Fang of Ashikari. People don't understand why this is such a good artifact on Magrat, and the reason it is because of the actual stats of the artifact. When you look at other stuff like our, you know, good old Tear of Arbon, we've got the magic unit defense and then Legion defense down on our stats. And when you actually look over at the Fang of Ashikari, this is the one artifact where you get Legion defense, because it's an all-rounder, meaning no matter what unit, whatever Legion is in there, you're gaining 62%. And what we've noticed in the reports, this actually is a lot more beneficial in a ton of scenarios. On top of that, what's really good about this artifact is you can leave it on auto cast and you will get value. It's weird because you're always at maximum range, and if there's anytime a cavalry that tries to go in, not on you, but maybe on someone else, guess what? They hit the Fang of Ashikari, they take a bunch of damage, you get a free bit of merits for it, and it can affect, obviously, any other infantry blinking in. It's a really good artifact. You don't actually have to do anything, and it just works, right? This damage type is physical / magical, so it works with both. So depending on what you run with your, you know, main unit type, it's going to tailor to that. So really, really good actual magic celestial artifact. One other artifact, and this is now going a little bit into, I think, the other realms, is going to be the Visage or even the Breath, right? The Breath of Gigantus is a really powerful one, giving you the magic attack, but what's really good is the defense break, right? That defense break, it's so brutal when you hit 10 enemies with that and you watch them all melt because they didn't even realize it, right? So those are the artifacts. We could honestly keep going on and on and on with the Magrat and Zayda because they're that good. It is the S+ match of the game so far. But when it comes to our pets, this is where we're going to start talking a little bit more about what we have as our options, right? Because obviously we've talked about the two different pets, and the one thing I have come to realize is you don't need too much sustain on your Magrat. You've already got it. I'm going to be honest, you already got it. And I've noticed a lot of the guys that I've been fighting against are following the same trend where they just go for sheer damage on the Night Rock pet because it does more damage than the Shadow Manticore. And you can see I actually have been building a Shadow Manticore for this match. What's good about the Shadow Manticore though is the fact that you can equip this to the Magrat Zayda, and if your goal as an archer main is to kill infantry, this is the pet you want on. Why? Because of that sustain as well. You will honestly thank me for having that little bit of extra sustain when you're trying to kill just infantry, because there's so many out there, as well as obviously all the damage dealt. However, if you're just trying to go for sheer damage, actual damage, get those high merit reports, my best pet, and even this one right now is a 1-star pet, is doing better than my Shadow Manticore in my merit reports, right? So if you want merits, you want that actual good damage, the Night Rock is actually the best archer pet you can actually have on this, right? Now, let's talk about the Celestial side, because the Celestial side is a lot different, because we talk about what we're going to go into very shortly in the honorable mention, the All-Star Sand Lizard. Who would have thought the Sand Lizard, even though I made a War Pet tier list, and I said, even in that tier list, that this is one of the most flexible pets in the game. No matter what you put it on, you know you're going to get some value out of it. How wrong was I to not think that the sustain ability, like the Magrat and Zayda, is what's key about high merit reports? And this Sand Lizard is the best at doing it. And we're going to talk about it in a very specific video in the future about Sand Lizard itself, but this on Celestials is especially what you want with Magrat. Obviously, you can go for some other options still, but this honestly just gives you and obviously nearby allies healing. Depending on what build you go for, I actually go for the one that only heals me, right? Only heals like my guy, but that's my build, right? But if you go for the general build, you're just healing everyone. This is the best pet, because when you got multiple Sand Lizards out there, especially with the Celestials, you're healing each other and you're keeping everyone up, which is such a good little team combo. So that's kind of what I would recommend for the Celestials on Magrat. Now let's talk about honorable mentions over the years, because there is other combos out there, which includes Husk, right? The Husk Kanara buff, right? This is the first season where I've actually been properly able to use Husk as an Awakened hero because of the Fellowship, right? And the thing is, I do own Husk. He's down here, 5111, unfortunately. But we got to use him properly in this season. And it is a good match, especially in earlier seasons. The thing is, you'll notice if you're a whale in early seasons, Husk Kanara is just brutal. It's just because you have T5 most likely, or you're super powerful on your top end of the T4 scale, and you just have this Husk Kanara doing insane counter-attack damage, right? But the thing is, at the same time, when you come into the later seasons, depending on who you're against, if you're going against super heavy T5 alliances like we have been in Pay to Win, right, going against Echo and that, well, you're gonna get average reports. I'm gonna be honest, you will get probably 20, maybe 25, 30k reports at a push, and that's just because of how much damage you're taking. And that is nothing wrong with the match, it's just how it's designed, right? So that's kind of the first one. Now let's talk about one match I absolutely fucking adore now. Syndrion and Zayda. Now this match is super surprising to me, because obviously it kind of seems like a no-brainer, because Zayda is, in my opinion, just kind of a direct upgrade on Fraga. She really is. She's just that good of a crit-based hero with archers that when you combo that with the Syndrion, yes, you will not get a double speed up, guys. It won't combo as anyone thinks, right? They made it sure that you only can, you know, get one stack of the mark each turn, right? So you cannot like use double tap and try and get 2 stacks at one turn, right? But if that's the case with every hero, that means he's still going to be generating it at the same rate. And the thing is, if he's generating at the same rate, but then gets an additional attack after, that means he gets more value out of it in a shorter period. And I'm telling you guys, Syndrion Zayda with the good old Viola's bow has been doing absolute wonders for me. And if you go into kind of like the Guns Noob chat, we've been posting obviously all of these different reports on there, and you will see here, as you can see, Syndrion Zayda, my very first, look at that, 35.3k merit. Up here, 30.5k merits. Like, it is such a good match. Honestly, comparing it to what it were, right, before, when we were up in, because we were testing out up on the major side, but comparing it to like a Fraga match, right, Syndrion Fraga that I was running that time, it wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. However, as you guys seen, right, the latest report, 32.9k on a Syndrion Fraga, Magrat 41.2, and you can see how consistent it is to get evenly just a 40k report on that match. It's that good. And you can do it with Celestials, you can do it with Archers. Like I said, you will get that amount of merits or more. That's how good it is, or more. It depends on what season you are in, right? So to finish things off, let's kind of run down, right, pets, because I've kind of gone through all of the archers. I've kind of talked about each of the archers in their respective seasons, as well as like how good they are a little bit later on. I've showcased the artifacts that I've been using. I've showcased obviously the war pets I've been using. Let's talk about war pets to finish the video off, and then if you guys, I know probably one in the comment section, I'll go through quickly on screen my talent builds and give you maybe 1 or 2 key points on each of the builds, right? But this is the Shadow Manticore I have been building. As you can see, we do have the 3-star advanced barbarism. We were going to be building this, and I think I'm going to finish building this off because it does seem like a good overall pet. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go for it and see how well it does. However, I put it on pause. I really did, because I was putting it on pause for the Night Rocks. And you can see I've already worked on both of these pretty well on 2, 1-star bases across here, right? Especially on this one, we just started building like last week or something. So we're doing pretty okay, especially luck-wise, and getting some good coins from obviously selling some skills as well for what we've been earning. So we've got those 2, obviously, Night Rocks, right? When we go to the Snow Peak Rocks, we're good too. The thing is, this one is really good, and if I honestly spend a bit of money, I could honestly, one season, probably get this to 2-star, 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 I could 2-star everything there, and that would have been a very aggressive and scary pet to go against for, obviously, the Snow Peaks, right? But then we come to the Venomous Lizard, which is good for the Hoskanara combo, and then the Sand Lizard. And the thing is, this is where I am wondering what to do. This is my biggest dilemma right now, because the thing is, as we will make a video on, the Sand Lizard looks like one of, if not the top 3 pets, honestly, in the game right now. The way people are playing the game, especially the guys that have been really smart, they have built 3, 4 Sand Lizard pets and using that on all of their marchers. And the thing is, they use just obviously the stone aura, and then they upgrade it with the the better version, but they do not put on the single healing, right? So they put on the stone aura. Your legion heals up to 4 of your nearby legions every 6 seconds, right? So they pick up the stone aura on here, right? They do not pick up the intense stone aura. It only goes on the advanced one, right? So you only copy these 2 skills, right? With that, you get the healing combo on your pet. It does stack, even though people don't think it does. It does stack. Then you can go on a variety of routes. You could go down the Chain Strike route and get Chain Strike, Intense Chain Strike, plus Steadfast Chain Strike, and then finish off with, depending on what your pet's designed for, Tooth and Claw or Resonance, right? To increase the overall damage of physical or magic. And what that pet does is, when you have 3 of them, you always are healing everyone around you, and you're always dealing an insane amount of damage. And what's super, super crazy, and I don't want to spoil the video, is it's super cheap to do. Compare it to any of the other pets. It is one of the cheapest pets to build in the game, right? So I'm in that weird dilemma now where I have been looking at my pets, and I've got some good pets clearly like on the road and on the horizon, when they're almost there, where they're basically 2-star all the way through, and I'd be happy with that pet until maybe I get a 3-star skill on them, right? But until then, what am I going to go for? What's my goal for an archer route? And I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below for this video, right? And if you guys want me to test out, by the way, any sort of archer combos, you can do that. Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm happy to test them out for you. But I want to know the sand lizard debate. Do you think it's worth it to build 3 or 4 sand lizzies all at once, right? And if you do, let me know. And with that, smash a like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to end the video there without going any further. But today's been, honestly, a really exciting day for me. You can see after over 800 days playing Call of Dragons, I have finally basically awakened every single archer hero apart from the 5551 mag, and we're not going to do that just because this is just the best investment to do, and I really don't want to waste another like 180 heads to get that 50% more damage, which we could have used on another hero to get him 5511 or even almost 5551, right? So it's just not worth it in my eyes, right? So that's going to be it. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and if you have, smash like, comment, and subscribe. Until the next one, stay safe, stay sneaky, peace out.